Hey guys, it's the Low Brad here, and welcome back to another video. I've just saw this pop up quite a few times because this has just only happened today, but Australia is the first nation to ban social media for kids. The Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said this will be one of the biggest social and cultural changes our nation has faced. So where with social platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, that should have been banned 10 years ago, Snapchat and YouTube is to ensure that children under the age of 16, so kind of adolescent age, aren't using their platforms. Now, I'll be getting onto my point in a bit later, but I've also seen there has already been people bypassing this already. Heard that there has been someone who didn't even click their email that they got this about, and they were able to just bypass this and still use the platform Snapchat.
I've opened TikTok and I'm still able to scroll without anything popping up about the ban, and same with Instagram.
And with discussion of this being introduced in Australia, there's also been a discussion where it can bring it either to the States or the UK, which I do find is a bit interesting that has come to light, where for a UK standpoint there had already been filters such as porn and even gaming requiring an ID verification. I also wanted to add this onto the points because I didn't write this down, but the fact that digital ID was passed through I think the government, I don't remember, but it was passed through, and a lot of people just said, even Labour, the whole kind of thing was saying it's a terrible idea. There's been countless occasions where data breaches have happened with that kind of thing, and it's just one other thing to make you feel vulnerable. Now, going on to my point, I do think that this is a bad thing, but I can definitely see two sides of this coin. For one, I can see that there has been negative effects in where people will be on their phone too much, myself included. I do feel that where I do get to a stage where I've just bored and I could be getting on with something better, I tend to just doom scroll for about an hour. But I am 20 now, so I can make that decision if this law did pass. And where a lot of things such as cyberbullying has led to extreme conclusions, I'm not going to go into further detail because then I do think I'd get claimed, but there are a lot of accounts, if you do look it up on the internet or wherever you can find, where things have led to such bad stuff. But on the other side of the coin, I do think this uprising in law has come from such things as parents not monitoring their children's time on their phone. Oh, no, hold up before anyone points it out. I do understand there is a point where there is an outreach for parents to control everything their son/daughter is doing. You can't always be the big brother is watching you, which we'll come on to that a little bit later. But even so, there have been, I do think, if there was a slight bit of monitoring, I have heard with occasions where the parents don't try and interject anything that's doing online because they don't know that kind of realm. But it is important that there is a monitoring with their children's time on their phones and stuff, because you get stuff like the things we've been seeing in the news. I think I forgot to put this point down, but I did want to make a sense of this. I also think social media platforms do have such lofty filters in their filtering of terrible stuff, like the what we're saying, corn, violence and stuff on their platforms. I think big one is Twitter, but I do think it's fairly easy to get these kinds of things as a young adult. But of course, I do think there will be 100 ways I do think that you can break lock this kind of thing. Now, I wrote it down as a bracket. I said it's the good old method: ask your mum or dad to buy GTA at game. I don't know what this stuff is happening in Australia. I can't really say or comment on it because I'm not an Australian. But is there a problem with getting your mum or dad to put their ID verification on your phone so then you can access social media? It is a point like that where you can just do that kind of stuff anyways. Also a big point, skyrocket in VPNs. VPNs are going to be a fucking money mine. If anyone's an owner of a VPN company or whatever, fucking hit the jackpot, because with the introduction with this stuff with governments, it's nearly impossible to not have a VPN now. I also found this on like BBC News as well. This is a quote. It says, "It's a bit insulting that they think we can't handle it." Now, and I also think it's a great point from these people who are being affected by these bans, that people who have like quite a good control of their like social time, social media time and stuff like that, where they know what the rights or the wrongs are on situations to do with that they have to suffer the ban because of people who don't, in which that should be people that should be banned from the platforms themselves in the first place, instead of this government law being enacted. But anyway, let's get to the conclusion of this. I do feel like we're going to a like more a direction of being in a dystopian like future kind of situation. Like I said about the Big Brother is watching you before, I do think that it's becoming more and more true by the day. We're becoming more of a I'm gonna say a more North Koreanification like country, where we're getting people just banned left, right, center of like social media stuff and things. It's a bit shit, I ain't gonna lie. What's the point? I think platforms on social media can do better because of their lofty filters with things like reaching out to people like creeps online, fucking whatever. They should already automatically know what is going on in those situations and should fucking step in. And then the last point, there will always be a bypass in these kinds of situations. So probably coming weeks or whatever, if you're all Australians or watching this video, just look online, to be completely honest, because I do think there'll be a bypass within like a few weeks. But anyways, this is Labrad signing off. All you stay safe out there. That's the whole point, hopefully the whole point of what this is trying to be, in any case. But yeah, it's getting a little bit bleak out there. I'll see you later. Bye.